36 weeks is a good size if they're born, but ideally, you know, you'd want to wait. You don't want them to come out before they're ready. But let's see what this little girl's doing in here. There's her little heart beating, so I'm going to get her heartbeat first. And we just kind of measure these little waves that we get on the screen here, and that tells us how fast her heart's beating. So I'm going to measure every other one. So looks like it's about, I'm kind of at the beginning of that one. So looks like about 115. I'm going to do another one to make sure, because you know, I usually like to make sure that it changes. If it's usually under 120, I like to do another one to make sure that it's different, because it can fluctuate.
See her ribs.
Mhm. You know, just like our heart rate beats fluctuate, theirs do too. So, yeah, right here I'm getting 123, so that's perfect. So I just want to make sure that it's not going to stay 115. Yeah. Because we like to see it 120 and up. So she probably was just, you know, it has a little fluctuation there. So I'll probably check it one more time before we finish, just to make sure. But there's her belly. This is her bladder. I'm going to come down here and take a look and see her head is down, so that's good.
She's way down there.
So I'm going to press on your bladder just for a second to see if I can see your cervix. Now, when you went in, did you just go straight into L&D when you were having some problems, or when you were?
No, I just went into I don't know, the first room, whatever they take you in the very beginning to just make sure. They just checked her. They monitored her.
Did you go to were you further along, or how long ago did you go?
Yeah, I was 34 weeks.
Oh, okay. So they probably took you into labor and delivery and put you in one of those little small rooms.
Yes.
Triage rooms.
Yes. And I was a centimeter and 60% the face.
The second time.
The second time. The first time I was just a centimeter and nothing else.
So your bladder's not real full, so I'm kind of having to estimate your cervix, but it looks like it's closed. I mean, I'm looking at it, and it doesn't look like it's short or anything like that, so it looks good. Because what happens is your cervix starts to thin out, and that's what the effacing is, and then it starts to dilate. When you start to dilate, the cervix starts to shorten. So both of those kind of have to happen for the baby to be born. So, you know, sometimes you can have one without the other.
Right.
You can have, you know, dilation but no thinning out, or so.
It's like the side of her head.
Yeah, that's the side of her head. I'm just looking at her placenta, which is on the top here, so I'm taking some placenta pictures. So make sure that looks good. But you never know. Sometimes, you know, people say that they have all these false alarms where the baby almost, you know, comes early, and then that's the babies that end up waiting until 41 weeks or 40 weeks to get here. So you just never know. Sometimes you think it's going to be early, and then, you know, they end up deciding they're comfortable in there and they want to stick around. So.
Well, she can't be comfortable. I'm not that big. I know she's killing me when she moves.
Let me see if I can see her leg here to measure her leg. We measure that big bone in the leg, the femur. That's what that is right there. So that big long bone. And then let me see if I can look between her legs. If she'll open her legs up enough. She's kind of got her legs really close together right now. You have to come back to check that. But yeah, right in here is where her gender would be there. But looks like a girl. I kind of see right here the 3 lines here. And those 3 lines are the girl parts in the labia. So definitely don't see any boy parts there. So I would definitely confirm girl still. So that's good. So that's her big,
no surprises.
Big bone in her leg. Next we're going to measure the belly with that too. So this is her belly. So this is like all her big belly, and there's her stomach right there. So we're going to measure her bone in her leg first. And this looks like the first scan that you've had since 20 weeks. Is that right? Because when I typed you in, you were in this room at 20 weeks. So it looked like you hadn't had anything since. So let's see. And it's okay if you're measuring like a week or so ahead or behind, as long as we're within a week or so. And it looks like the femur's measuring about 37 weeks, so that's about a week ahead.
That's crazy.
So, you know, a week is okay. That's not too far off.
Right.
That's nothing to get too excited about, because they have growth spurts. So sometimes, you know, one part of their body might grow quicker than the other, so.
Yeah, my daughter she was measuring 2 weeks behind. So we were having ultrasounds almost every
extra
visit.
ones because of that. And then if they measure like really ahead, you have to have extra ones because of that. So, but yeah, a week is usually not something that they get too concerned about. But we're going to look at these other measurements here too. I'm going to get right here on her belly. as close as we can so we can be as accurate as we can here. Okay, so there's your little belly measurement. So that's measuring 36, so that's good. I'm going to do one more belly measurement to compare them, and then we're going to look at her head measurement. And here we get a good picture of her head. Her head's so low. So at least they maybe didn't have to give you that medicine to stop the labor. Did they do that?
Well, they did, yes. The first time we went in, they gave it to me twice, and then
That medicine I hear is really rough. Like it causes a lot of side effects.
it's your heart rate. It just speeds
That
up your
would
heart
scare
rate.
me.
Oh yeah. And then the second time they just did it once instead of nothing changes, then they're just not gonna continue with it. Just let her go.
So you were there for like a night or?
For a few hours.
Oh, okay, so that wasn't too bad
Yeah.
then. Okay, so I'm gonna measure her belly again here. Yeah, I had both of mine over at Gwinnett. I think they're really good over there. So
Yeah.
the food isn't too bad. For hospital food, it wasn't too bad.
It's been a while. It's been almost 9 years. So, I don't know.
Of course, nothing's better than being home probably and having home cooked meal, but
Oh, of course.
make sure I get right in her little belly because it kind of extends down here. And I try to be as accurate as possible, but you know, we can be off by a half a pound to a pound. You know, we try not to be off by too much, but so I'm getting about the same on her belly on that one. And then next we're going to measure her head, and that's the image over on the left here. It's the top of her head, looking at it from like the very top.
Okay.
Like we're looking at it from like the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to measure around too.
She's gonna have a big head.
Probably.
Well, everything I think looks bigger on the screen because it's kind of blown up a little bit, you know, on the
Yeah.
screen. So that's always something to think about. But the good thing about the head is at least the head kind of squishes a little bit. It gives a little bit when you have a baby. You hate to think of that, but that's the good thing about it.
My son had a pretty big head when he came out.
Okay. Looks good there. So I'm going to also measure your fluid level. Make sure we've got everything here. So I'm going to measure your fluid level. And what we do is we measure the biggest pocket in each quadrant of your belly. And they add all the numbers up together. So we're going to look at this first quadrant here. This is kind of where her bottom and her legs are, is over on this side here. She's kind of in there at like a diagonal. This is all baby on this side almost. That's where she likes to keep her body and her spine, her belly.
Yep. Probably why she hates it when I lay on that side.
She's like, you're crushing me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get over here to the fluid. Did they do one of these ultrasounds when you were there too? Did they do that?
No.
I haven't had any kind of ultrasound until today.
Till
from
today.
20 weeks.
Wow. So everything looks so much bigger to you, I'm sure,
Yeah.
compared to
Before
20 weeks.
she fit on one screen.
Yeah.
Yep, she doesn't fit
You're
on
not.
the screen anymore.
Yeah, you're not having.
I'll try to get you a cute picture of her face before we finish, but yeah, she's not as small. Let's see here. And this is where her head and her spine is at over on this side. She's looking down right now, so this is the top of her spine. So I'll try to get you a good picture, but she's kind of facing down, so that kind of makes it challenging. Yeah, that's the best way to be born, you know,
Right.
it's facing down. So hopefully she doesn't change. But sometimes they can still, you know, turn their head around. See here, looks like there's a lot of cord in this picture, so
Oh, wow.
we can't measure that pocket. Let's see. There's probably not a whole lot of. She's got mainly her head and her body there. It's a little bit of fluid right there. But you have plenty of fluid in all the other areas, so it's just down here. She's got mostly her head there. Okay, so we're going to measure these right here. And we're almost done. We'll see if we can take a look at her face. She'll show us her face. This mouse needs to be cleaned on here. It's kind of not moving around so fast. So your fluid is 13.9. So I think that should be satisfied with that. But Johnny will let you know all of that when she sees you. So
what does that mean then if it's?
They'd like to keep it over a certain amount, your fluid level. I think it's like 10 or 11. Yours is almost 14. So I don't think she would be concerned about it. But she'll let you know all that when she sees you.
And that's if I'm losing fluid, then. Is that the...
Well, I mean, if you were losing fluid, you would see it or you would notice it. But sometimes your fluid normally gets to a peak and then you don't make as much fluid anymore. So just naturally, without even having fluid leaking, your fluid kind of reaches a certain amount and then it kind of levels off. And usually that's around 38 weeks. So you should be getting to that point pretty soon where the fluid is probably maxing out. Here's a little ear right here. But yeah, she's not wanting to show me her face. I'm trying to come back here at angle. She's showing me the back of her head. Because she's kind of looking towards your spine right now. She's kind of got her little...
Okay.
She's kind of got her head
she's
down.
All laid in there kind of crazy.
She's got her head down and she's facing. I can maybe angle and see a little bit of her little face here. You can kind of see a little bit of it right here. But I'm having to really angle. There's like her lip and her nose and her eye.
Her eye?
Like her little lips there. I'm trying to really angle to see her though, because she's not being real cooperative about wanting to. She's kind of like looking away from us, but if we angle, we can kind of see her. There's a little eye there, a little cheek. So she's moving her mouth there. See, moving that little mouth of hers. Looks like she's sucking on her. She's got her hand up there too, so she might be sucking on her hand.
Oh wow!
Oh, now I'm seeing it.
See, her little nose is right here.
Yeah.
See, she looks like she's got her hand in her mouth.
Aww.
But it's really having to
dig in there.
To see her. Look, there's a little face right there. Yeah, there's a little face right there. It's like looking at her. Yeah, looking at her straight. But I'm trying to get you a good profile, but there's her little. See her little mouth moving?
No.
There's a little nose. I'm trying to get you a good profile, but it's kind of hard to see.
Oh wow.
Her little nose and her upper lip. She's got her hand in her mouth, I think.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, but she's definitely in a position that makes it challenging to see her, that's for sure.
Yeah, she had some pretty crazy movements earlier that were hurting me down there.
Yeah. Like they move their head and it's like you have so many nerves down there. Yeah, this is kind of like her little face. To see her little cheeks there. You can kind of see her little cheeks and her little nose. It's not too... Of course, the 20-week, is more impressive, but that's for right now. This is probably pretty good to see that.
Yeah.
To see her little cheek right there,
and her eye,
little eye socket, and her little mouth.
Oh,
You can even see the lens of the eye. See the circle inside of the eye? That's the lens of the eye.
There's her mouth.
There's a little mouth and her cheek right there.
Oh.
Yeah, but she looks like she's just chilling out in there. She looks like she's doing good. Here we can see her little feet. Sometimes you can see their feet. Her feet are usually really cute.
Oh, she's being stubborn, so who knows?
She's got a leg and a foot down here. She's definitely maximizing her space in there.
It's not much space either.
This is right between her legs here. So she's got her legs really close together because there's both of her legs.
Wow, she's so big.
She says, I'm getting ready to come out though, so it won't be too much longer. So everything looks great on her. I got you a couple of pictures of what I could see.
Thank you.
But everything you're measuring right on track.